All right, I'm going to call the Guthrie Edmond Regional Airport Board to order, and I will note that we have a quorum of 4 members present. Mr. Young, Vice Chair Guy, and Mr. Robinson, Mr. Robbins, Councilman Robbins are not in attendance. The second item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve the minutes of the Guthrie Edmond Regional Airport Board meeting held on February 13, 2024. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? The minutes were posted in your agenda packet that were mailed out on, I believe, Thursday of last week. Hearing no additions or corrections, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
There's been a motion made and seconded and laid upon the table. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Having received a majority of those pointed to and constituting the board, the motion carries. Item number 3, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve the monthly financials. Again, the financials were in the packet that was emailed to you. And are there any questions about the monthly financials? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the financials.
Motion made to approve.
Dr. Golightly made a motion. There's been a motion made and seconded by Councilman Williams. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Having received a majority of those appointed to and constituting the board, the motion carries. I have a question on item number 4. We have items A, B, C, D, E, and F, which are hangar ground leases. Billy, can we handle that with one motion, like a consent docket, or do we need to go through each one individually?
I believe on those, and it's the same issue, and it's just a CPI. You move this one.
One motion. All right. So item number 4A is hangar ground lease 10 with TNT Insurance Ltd. Item number B is ground lease 12 with HG Adams. Item number C is ground lease number 16 to get this in the record with Alpine Aviation LLC. Item number D is number 16A with Chaparral Hangar LLC. Item number E is ground lease number 23A with BC Guthrie Hangar LLC. Item number F is hangar ground lease number 24D with BTR Aviation LLC. And item G is ground lease number 27 with Kent Officer. Are there any items that anyone wants removed for individual discussion? Are there any discussion on the ground lease amendments? Mr. Young, do you have any comment?
I do not.
No comment. I take it staff's recommendation is to approve.
Yes, sir.
All leases as amended. With that, I will entertain a motion to approve items 4A through G as read into the record.
Make a motion to approve 4A through 4G as read to the record.
There's been a motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion made and seconded and laid upon the table. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Having received a majority of those appointed to and constituting the board, items 4A, B, C, D, E, F, and G are approved. Item number 5, discussion, consideration, and possible action to set a date for a strategic planning workshop with identifiable goals for the workshop. Mr. Young.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So as you all may be aware, the House Appropriations Act of 2020, Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2024 passed, and that included $6 million for a terminal and at our airport, as well as other items. And that has freed up some of our money, so to speak, in the capital improvement, the 5-year CIP capital improvement project program that was going to be used to finance the terminal. And so we have a lot of capital projects that are on the table for discussion. We wanted a time to set up a time to speak with the board about what we want the future of the airport to look like. Especially it'll be helpful for me. I don't think I've had a whole lot of discussion about capital projects with the board, especially since we've gotten new members. So I'd love to set a date for those discussions today and figure out kind of what we want that to look like.
I think one of the things that Mr. Wallace has city council after this meeting, and so maybe if we could schedule it before a board meeting or a couple hours before, I think that, I don't know if that works for Councilman Williams or not. Would that work for you?
Sure,
Without-
yes.
without
Depending on-
notice?
Yeah, depending on the length of the time too, if we can limit the discussion to an hour, I think we could do it after as well.
Okay. Do you think that it's going to take longer than an hour to discuss the projects?
I don't know that it will. I was looking towards, even for myself, the May to June timeframe, so I can make sure, kind of run through what's been proposed in the future and put together, appropriate cost estimates of what
Okay.
things might be. If it needs to be more than an hour, I really want it to be more board directed, whatever the board feels is necessary to discuss it. I don't want to, hard cap it at an hour and then there needs to be more discussion. But if the board feels it appropriate for it to be an hour, then that's fine with me.
I think, I'm just trying to be mindful of everybody, since we have Tuesday afternoons on the second Tuesday blocked off, I just feel like that would be an appropriate time to be, I know that, for example, Councilman Williams and I have, the first Tuesdays, the first and third Tuesdays of the month are sort of taken with the city council meetings. And so if we could tie it in with the board meeting, and if we could do it before, that would be fine with me. And if we need more than an hour to do it before, I think would be beneficial. So if we want to do it, say it
Okay.
like lunchtime, maybe perhaps, would that work for
Yep.
everybody? That, okay with you all? So let's think about the first June, or the meeting in June, which would be the second Tuesday. If that would work for everybody.
Second Tuesday in June.
And should that give you enough time? So that would be the 11th. Yeah,
Yes.
that would give you enough time to put together the information that you need to put in the packet.
Right.
You need a motion to set that, or we just?
Yeah,
we motion for that, we'll just do notice for me.
Okay.
You do need a motion.
No, we'll do notice, you just need to notice the meeting,
Okay,
so no.
okay. So tentatively, we'll plan on before the board meeting in June for a strategic planning workshop with goals for the workshop. Item number 6 is the airport director's report.
Yes, so for as far as airport buildings, grounds and equipment, mowing and spraying have begun due to the warmer spring weather. Airport maintenance is sprayed around the airport terminal and hangar areas to mitigate grass growth. The airport is working on posting a part-time seasonal position to assist with airport maintenance duties. I'm told that position will extend up to possibly 6 months. So I'd say that's a little bit more than seasonal. That's going to be able to cover a lot of time for us. That'll be a big element. The airport vehicle is nearly upfitted. We're still waiting on the wiring for the aircraft radio. But other than that, it's here at the airport being used daily for where it can be. We are exploring options to replace the green lens on the airport beacon due to gradual fading over time. It's really looking a little rough out there. So we're hoping to replace that, just looking at the best vendors to go with. The U.S. House of Representatives passed the Consolidated Appropriations Act, as I mentioned earlier, which included $6 million for the airport terminal. We're still waiting on that to be approved by the Senate and obviously signed by the president, and that'll be a big win for our airport and the surrounding community. So, the PAPI lights on runway 34 were reported by pilots as dim from the sky from a plane. If you're right in front of the PAPI lights, you really don't see a difference. I'm just getting reports from pilots. If any of you happen to be up there and notice it, please let me know. We went ahead and replaced the bulbs, but it was still reported. And so at this time, we're working with Wise Electric to come out here and diagnose the issue. Mowing equipment has also been prepped for the incoming spring weather. I attended the Southwest Airports FAA Partnership Conference in Hurst, Texas. I met with our FAA program manager, and it was a great conference. I got to hear from a lot of airports and how they're working towards their development. I also attended the Community Relations Council luncheon held by the Guthrie Job Corps last week. Eddie and I met with City Manager Eddie Faulkner, and I met with Peyton Burns with Senator Lankford's office last week, who just stopped by the airport to discuss development. I've also, as Dave, you've seen because of the agenda item, I prepared the CPI adjustments with the 5-year increases, and those will go before council next week, Guthrie City Council, and then we will send out those invoices as normal. Sent out the airport newsletter for the month of March, which included an airport spotlight on our newest flight school, Bucks Flight Academy. They were grateful to include information about their flight school and how to obtain a pilot's license. And I had a few prospective pilots even reach out to me for that information. So that was great to see. We're 6 months out, but I've already started pre-planning for the summer fly-in. I've at the Stillwater fly-in, which I've worked, the OSU flight school played a large role in that. I haven't actually put together a large fly-in like Shalon had in the past, but I did speak to the owners of the A-26 Invader, and they're interested in flying back to the airport just for the duration of that event. I know that was a big part of the event, and they'd like to come back and showcase their airplane again. So that was pretty exciting to hear. But that's really all I have for this report at this time.
Thank you. Requests and comments from the airport board, Member Wallace.
Excited about the terminal. That's big news. And do we have kind of a preliminary, assuming that was to make its way through the Senate and the president's desk? Do we have a sense of when that project might start?
I think we're locked and loaded, ready to roll. So as soon as we can get the green light, staff's ready. We have schematic designs, preliminary designs. So we don't have a full set of drawings. As you guys well know, it's essentially a replication of the wood ring terminal.
What an amazing change. That'll push the calendar up quickly. Really excited.
Councilman Williams, just agreeing with the fact that this is exciting and looking forward to the opportunity and part of that.
Thank you very much. Member Young. Dr. Golightly.
Just as a pilot, I've trained here back in the 80s and 90s, and being able to be part of, like move out of state for a while, even out of the country, and then come back and be a part of everything here and see the development of everything going into the future is really exciting. And I'm honored to get to still be a part of that. It's pretty cool.
Thank you. Is that it? Anything else? I did notice that the PAPI lights, the second from right, was the one that appeared to be dim. And when I was on the ground, I was doing touch and goes, and I noticed that you could see it on the ground, but from the air, that second from right was dim. Now the others were all okay, I thought, but I thought maybe it was a lens issue with that PAPI. But I did notice it as well. And I was out on Sunday and was flying around, and then we flew back sort of late, and so it was getting to the evening hours when you could really tell that was an issue. Just a question: where are we with the hangar use policy?
So I think where we're at on that is most airports have a rates and charges policy, which to my knowledge, our airport has never had a rates and charges policy. Please correct me if I'm wrong. What that policy does is it allows basically any business that comes in and does business on the airport or the hangar development, they know based on that rates and charges policy, what the ground lease is going to be. So that would be a place where we would put 22 cents a square foot is our current going rate. So that would make it where everybody that comes in, they're going to be paying 22 cents a square foot. And that could be they could even be fuel flowage fees. We would put something like that in there, and it kind of evens the playing field, so to speak. As far as the hangar use policy goes itself, I intend to put together a hangar inspection checklist, so to speak. We've never really done hangar checks out here at the airport, and I wanted to gauge the board's interest in that. It wouldn't be anything like, going in and ruffling through a pilot stuff in the hangar. It's just simply going in, seeing that there's a registered tail number for the aircraft, making sure that they're complying with existing city ordinances for what needs to be in their hangar, and then just taking note of that and moving forward. That way, when we submit our based aircraft list to the FAA at the end of the year, I can truly say with confidence, these are the aircraft that are in here. I know that a lot of hangar owners, especially with the TA hangars, might not be out here just every single day monitoring, who's coming in or out. And I'd like to keep better track of that if that's the direction that the board wants to go.
So considering the fact that there's still automobiles and at least one hangar that I'm aware of, no aircraft, I think that's probably prudent. The other thing, I don't know if we can do this, but it seems to me that we shouldn't have a boneyard on hangar property, which there's a large amount of airplane parts, debris at one major hangar just strewn about on the north side of that hangar that are a hazard and B, just kind of unsightly. I feel pretty certain that if I just decided to throw a bunch of stuff out behind my hangar, the city would probably have an issue with that, in sort of a parking area. So I think that could be also part of the hangar use is that, you can't.
Can you find people for that? That's part of the regulations of airport ground, city grounds.
We can certainly look into exploring options. I would say that most of all, when the tenant signs the lease agreement, every property lease agreement is going to have a section on leasehold improvements. You can't just let your property that you have, deteriorate, because eventually it will become city property by the time that lease is over. So I think that might be a method by which we could say, you're not upholding that standard. But we can definitely go back to the drawing board and I can get a more definitive answer.
Continue to the other thing, I'm continuing to attempt to talk to the short takeoff and landing event people and figure out what it's going to take to host one of those events. I think yet on your schedule is weather permitting. If we can, my airplane is back in operation. I got it back from the A&P mechanic, so if you guys are still good to go to the event in Louisiana and the weather permitting, obviously, I'm not going to try and fly you through major thunderstorms. And we could have those this time of year. I'm interested in obviously doing that so that we can kind of see what the event looks like and what it takes to host something like that. That's all I had. If there's nothing further, is there a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Go
No,
ahead.
you're good. I was going to say, I believe I might have mentioned this before the meeting. We had a public comment that was requested prior to this meeting by Mr. Skaggs. However, it wasn't made an agenda item. So I was just going to welcome a member of the board or yourself, Mr. Chairman, if you wanted to recognize Mr. Skaggs for a quick update.
Okay. Sure. That would be great.
Just real quick, we wanted to say congratulations on the bill moving forward. We're excited for change here. Definitely some attaboys to give out. Since we've came here, we've seen an increase in overall aircraft traffic up 12% between January and March since last year. So things are rolling good. We've got increased volume. We've got 4 loads of avgas since we took over here in January. We've got another flight school moving in July 1st into Hangar 2. And just growth is happening. We're excited to be here. We even have an offer in on the purchase of the fuel tank system, as well as Hangar 21. So we're waiting to hear back on that offer. So we're just looking forward to possibly getting on some agenda items in the future meetings of the board and hearing you guys' thoughts on our growth and subsequently your growth along with it.
Thanks, thank you. I understand that the flight school's gonna use SR-20s or SR-22s.
Yes.
Right.
Brand new SR-20s, straight out of Duluth, Michigan.
Okay. I would if you did not have the best of luck with that plan, but okay.
I guess that's why there's three of them, right?
Putting the Lamborghini, on a Pinto driver. may not be the best. I don't know, just me, but all right. Okay, well, I'm excited. That's great. I've always wanted to fly a Cirrus, so maybe I'll rent one just to have the experience. Doubt I'll give up the 182.
Solid platform, try not through.
That's it, yeah.
You know, Piper.
Not a whole lot of changes.
That's the one.
We pulled up at Jones Riverside and there was one from 1950 right next to mine, and it doesn't look a whole lot different, so.
Good deal.
All right, thank you. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Make motion to adjourn.
There's a motion made, is there a second? A motion made and second laid upon the table, there's no debate on the motion to adjourn, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, having received a clear of those appointed to the copy of the board, the motion carries and we stand adjourned. Thank you all, I appreciate it.